you don't lack energy, you just lack vision, right? You don't have a why, and that's why you don't have energy. Hello, Aaron Kubitz, personal trainer, functional aesthetics EC, helping average guys perform better inside and outside the gym. So, how do you find happiness? Today's video is going to be a little bit off of the typical fitness topic, but I believe that a lot of people in trying to improve their fitness, trying to improve their health, it's one aspect of trying to improve happiness and make their lives better overall, right? So years ago on YouTube, there was a guy that would be in all the YouTube ads. He was a really popular guy, Ty Lopez, right? And a lot of guys would say, oh, he's a scammer, right? You know, because he'd be in his garage, he'd have like a bookshelf behind him, and he'd have a bunch of like really expensive sports cars in the garage. And then he would be giving you like advice on life and success and all that kind of all that kind of stuff, right? It turns out I think he actually was a pretty successful guy. I think he was on Tom Bilyeu's show on YouTube a while back on his podcast or something, right? But regardless of that, there was a quote from him that really stuck with me, and I think I heard this quote sometime between 2010, 2014, somewhere in that time frame. And the quote was that we struggle for health, we struggle for wealth, we struggle for love and social standing, and in the process of struggling and overcoming, we find our happiness, right? And that was something that really resonated with me at the time, right? Because a lot of times we by nature, we don't like adversity, we don't like struggles, we don't like hardship, but it is those struggles and those hardships that make us enjoy life more, that give us happiness, that give us meaning. Do you ever find it interesting that a lot of times the movies that we enjoy watching stuff like action movies. We enjoy watching movies about heroes and stuff like that, right? And if you actually thought about putting yourself in their circumstances, you would probably really not like your life or enjoy your life, right? But yet we enjoy watching that. And why do we enjoy watching that? Because at the end, the hero achieves greatness, right? He overcomes the obstacles, and there's a happy ending to it. And this is a reoccurring theme throughout all of history, right? The old legends, the old tales and stuff. It's called something called the hero's journey, right? You have the guy, and a very good depiction of this is in Lord of the Rings, right? With Frodo. Frodo is in the Shire, everything is nice and comfortable, he eats multiple meals a day of wines, cheeses, all these delectable things and stuff. He has, then he goes around and visits his friends, and the sun is always shining, and, everybody's happy, okay? And then one day, this wizard shows up and tells him, hey, we need to go on an adventure. We need to go and go to this mountain or a fire or something like that, because there's this bad guy who threatens the peace, security, and comfort of all of Middle Earth, right? Which is a made-up place in Tolkien's Lord of the Rings series, right? And so this is going to affect the men, this is going to affect the dwarves, this is going to affect the elves, and this is going to affect the little hobbits, which Frodo is one of, in the Shire. And so they go on this journey, and there's all these obstacles and all these challenges, and both internally and externally, that Frodo has to overcome in the process. But at the end, he achieves the objective, and then he comes back with a gift, or a bit of knowledge or whatever that he can impart to the future generations, right? And that is kind of one of the things of actually in a video I was watching with Elliot Hulse, who was a guy that got me started on my path to decide to open my own fitness business and to become a fitness trainer, and to believe that I could do it. Was Elliot Hulse, watching him on YouTube. And one of my favorite videos of his was one where the title of the video was "Your Injury is Your Success," right? And he relates because he used to answer a lot of questions from a lot of young men that would send him questions about various things about either strength training or just life in general. And the particular guy who sent him this, who was talking to him in this message, right? And he was making a response to it on YouTube, had said that he was a power lifter and he just loved going to the gym, lifting heavier weights, getting stronger, getting bigger, and that was everything to him, right? Well, it turns out he goes to the doctor because he was having some problems, and he has a heart defect where there's like a small hole in his heart or something like that. And so now he's limited and he can't lift anything over light dumbbells and do cardio. And so now he's floored because he's losing all his muscle and his strength, and as he calls it, he's getting quote-unquote skinny fat, which is meaning that you are skinny but you have a high body fat percentage, right? And he's feeling like, man, all this thing that meant so much to me in life has been stripped away from me, and now what am I going to do with my life, right? And so in the process, Elliot's talking to him, and Elliot says, talks about how the struggles that you go through in life and how you deal with them, how you overcome them, provide the roadmap for others to follow, right? And he talks about how his own struggles and stuff inspired him to create this YouTube channel, and how he was bearing that light to show other people who were not, the strongest, the brightest, the best, the most good-looking people and stuff, and the typical people that you think would be successful in life, that they still had something to offer, right? So the area of your injury, the area of your defect or your deficit can actually be the way that you succeed in your life. So what I take from all of this is that happiness is not a life that is devoid of suffering, obstacles, or challenges. Rather, happiness comes from pursuing a goal that you deem worthwhile, right? It has to be personally meaningful to you. It can't be, because like sometimes people come to me and they'll be like, and I say, okay, well, what is your goals? Why are you coming to see me? And they'll say, well, because my doctor said I need to lose a bunch of weight. I've got high blood pressure and my cholesterol is high and all this kind of stuff. And, or, something like that. Or I want to be quote unquote healthy. Well, what does healthy mean? That's going to mean a lot of different things for a lot of different people. It's very vague, it's very unspecific, it's lacking in emotion. Why do you specifically want to, what do you want to achieve, and why do you want to achieve it? It has to be personally meaningful to you. It can be a very worthwhile goal. It can be a great thing of, being like Mother Teresa, helping all these different people, or being like the Apostle Paul in the Bible and devoting your entire life to service of God. But if it's not personally meaningful to you, you're not gonna have the energy and the force of will to go and see that out to the end, right? So if it's personally meaningful to you, like Nietzsche said, if you have a why, you can endure almost any what. And so if you have that personally meaningful objective, that mission, that thing that is personally meaningful to you, you'll be able to go out there, and even though there's obstacles, there's failures and things like that, you find that it's worth it because of what's on the other side of that, what you're going to accomplish, either for yourself or in service to humanity, your family, whatever it is. that is personally meaningful to you, so you're willing to endure these hardships in pursuit of that worthy goal. And again, it has to be worthy to you. So one other thing I want to say on this, in that regard, is that, and what kind of backs up my point further, is have you ever noticed that there's people who their lives are relatively comfortable, right? And I think, like, today in the United States, right, in a lot of developed countries, we have lives that are more comfortable than they've ever been in human history, right? You have the ability to be more, do more than you ever have before, right? And yet there's more people on antidepressants and struggling with anxiety and all these different things than ever before. And I think a lot of it is because their lives don't have meaning, don't have this purpose, right? They're always seeking out comfort and avoiding discomfort at all cost. And in the process, they are relieving themselves of the joy of the adventure, of the challenge, right? Finding something that excites you and then having the courage to pursue it, even though there might be some things that could be hazardous potentially to your health, hazardous to maybe your financial security, right? But there's the potential of a huge payoff on the other side. Or there's the fulfillment that you get personally out of pursuing that thing. And so even though your life isn't, hard or, difficult, and you go to the office and you make a fairly good a living and stuff and everything, and maybe you can enjoy a vacation once or twice a year, and you hang out with your friends or family on the weekends, and maybe watch a movie, go to a ball game or watch a ball game, or go down to the park, go fishing, whatever it is and stuff, and then you go back to the mundane job again, and you're kind of just surviving, you're existing. And so even though there's nothing that's actually wrong with your life, oftentimes you feel depressed. You feel a lack of energy, a lack of enthusiasm. Or like Dwayne Johnson, aka The Rock, repeating a quote from another philosopher, I can't remember the guy's name, but saying that, you don't lack energy, you just lack vision, right? You don't have a why, and that's why you don't have energy.